Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Cole. It's Sunday evening, November 6th, and we're now entering week 4 of Political Science 1013 on the second 8-week schedule for the fall 2022 term. All right, everybody. Many of you will be looking at this on Monday the 7th. That's 1 week away from our midterm exam on Monday the 14th. That will cover Units 3 and 4 on the media and on the Constitution. Now, before that, beginning Monday through Wednesday, the 7th through the 9th, we're going to be running our first discussion, first of 3 threaded discussions worth 50 points each, the best 2 out of 3 count. And you were asked to discuss, read an article and discuss the possibility of amending the Constitution and what amendments, if any, you might favor, especially those among the ones that are listed in the reading that you'll be doing. Okay, so that will be running Monday through Wednesday, with the midterm exam the following Monday the 14th. Now, we've discussed Unit 3, our mass media unit. I want to say just a word about Unit 4 on the Constitution, which I hope you will have begun on already because the reading assignment is so lengthy. You have 4 textbook chapters, plus some documents in the appendix to the textbook, plus my class notes for Unit 4. So it's a lengthy assignment. I hope if you are pressed for time, you'll concentrate on Chapter 2 and also the 2 Federalist papers written by James Madison that would be found in the appendix to the textbook. Okay. Now, when we get to the exam on the 14th, the material will be largely the class notes for Units 3 and 4, but also 3 articles you've been asked to look at. One about Twitter and its takeover by Elon Musk, and 2 articles about the Constitution. One by Professor Daniel Allen of Harvard University, called The Flawed Genius of the Constitution, and this largely discusses the treatment of slavery in the Constitution. Then we have an article by Dan McLaughlin of National Review, and he discusses the recent tenure of British Prime Minister Liz Truss, who you might have heard only lasted a month and a half in the job. She was asked to form a government by Queen Elizabeth 2 days before the Queen's death, but lasted only about 6 weeks in office after that. And Mr. McLaughlin uses that episode to discuss, to compare and contrast the U.S. constitutional system vis-a-vis the parliamentary system as it works in Great Britain. So those are 3 things you're asked to read for the exam on the 14th. Now, looking at Unit 4 on the Constitution, what we try to do is we go through the events that led to the adoption of the Constitution. Now that takes us quite a while, because there's a fair amount of history behind the Constitution that goes a long way to explain why the Constitution is the way it is. Okay? We try to discuss the thinking behind the Constitution, which is one reason why we try to have you look closely at the Federalist Papers. Federalist Papers number 10 and 51 by James Madison are found in the appendix to the textbook, and they're also discussed in the class notes. So if you have trouble reading the material in the appendix to the textbook, look at the class notes, and I try to give you a little synopsis of each of them there. Now, we do try to go through the contents of the Constitution. There's 7 articles and 27 amendments. We don't touch on every amendment, but we discuss the original 7 articles. We discuss the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments that were added almost immediately, the 3 amendments that were added after the Civil War, especially the 14th Amendment, and we also touch on the 25th Amendment, if for no other reason that there were a couple attempts to remove Donald Trump from office, and it was mentioned in the press and perhaps behind the scenes the possibility that the 25th Amendment might have been invoked. Okay. Now then, once we've done all that, we try to briefly discuss the topics that are mentioned, that are dealt with in chapters 3, 4, and 5 from your textbook: civil rights, civil liberties, and federalism. Okay. those are discussed near the end of the class notes. There's a chapter about each of those assigned from the textbook. Perhaps the most important part of the textbook assignment for you to look at is Chapter 2, which deals with the Constitution as a whole. So if you are pressed for time, I hope you will look closely at that, and also the 2 Federalist papers that are in the appendix to the textbook. The appendix also includes the Declaration of Independence and the whole Constitution, the first 7 articles and the 27 amendments, all of which are very interesting to read through if you have never done so. All right? But the exam on the 14th will cover Unit 3 on the mass media, Unit 4 on the Constitution. Of the 2, Unit 4 is far, far longer. So I hope you will get started on the material related to Unit 4 straight away if you have not done so already. All right, so a week from now, we'll get a message to you, and we'll try to say something about the exam, which will be coming up on Monday, and many of you will see my next announcement on the day of the exam. After that, we will be moving on to the second half of the course, Unit 5 on the presidency, that we'll try to do before we break for Thanksgiving. So, all right, you have a discussion to take part in this week, and your midterm exam coming up on the 14th. My next message to you will be coming along right about exam day for the midterm exam. And after that, we'll be dealing with Unit 5 on the presidency and breaking for Thanksgiving break shortly after that. So I hope you'll look at that Constitution material, take part in the discussion, and be working on getting ready for the exam. And we'll talk to you once again a week from now at this time.